It was a crisp October morning in London when the studios of the breakfast show Good Morning Britain buzzed with the usual pre-broadcast hum. Lights clicking on, cameras rolling into position, makeup artists applying finishing touches, producers huddled over cue cards. On screen, the host, Kate Garraway, sat poised and composed, accustomed to the early hours and the live-on-air adrenaline. But today, something felt different. Opposite her sat co-presenter Richard Madeley, slightly angled toward the camera, his expression measured but a little kiter than usual. The guest was via video link, a woman who'd resigned from a high-profile inquiry into grooming gangs. The topic was serious, heavy. Tensions in the studio were subtle but present. Kate opened the segment with her trademark warmth. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Kate Garraway, and we'll be discussing very important issues that affect the lives of many. She glanced at her notes and then turned to Richard. Richard, the inquiry panel has been under fire. What do you make of it? Richard began, but Kate interjected almost immediately. Yes, and moreover, I'd like to ask our guest how she felt about being pressured into silence. Before she could complete the sentence, Richard lifted his hand, a faint but unmistakable signal. Hold on a minute. He continued speaking, carrying on his line of questioning without pausing. Kate's lips pressed together. She shifted in her chair, half smiling, half frowning. The guest, on screen, looked approving of Richard's question. Kate silently waited. In that moment, the sense of unease rippled through the studio. Some viewers would later tweet, "She was shut down. Poor Kate never got to finish. Feels off." Indeed, online outraged commentary erupted. Critics of the show alleged that Kate was sidelined, overshadowed by Richard's domineering presence. One comment read, "Kate has now reached boiling point at being interrupted for the second time. #GMB. As the segment drew to a close, Kate attempted to speak. "Before we move on," but Richard, already turning to the guest, asked, "So, why did you resign?" The guest began to respond, and the camera lingered on Kate's face, eyes flicking between her notes, the guest screen, and Richard's profile. She looked slightly deflated, as though she'd been bumped off her lane. Backstage, producers exchanged glances. One whispered, "Did you see that? Kate got cut off." Another nodded. They knew the optics. A seasoned anchor being overshadowed, the balance of voices shifting. The show's official Twitter handle avoided comment, but within minutes, the clip was being shared across fan forums with the caption, "When your co-host raises his hand to silence you mid-interview." The show went to ad break, and Kate took a breath, smoothing her notes. Richard leaned across, offering her a brief smile. "We can move on," he said. She nodded, but the damage had been done. Viewers were now speculating, was this intentional? Was Kate being undermined? Was Richard hogging the spotlight? Or was it just a mismanaged live moment? When the segment resumed, Kate forced a bright tone as they introduced the next topic, a lighter piece on water pollution in London. But the momentum had shifted. Her earlier warmth had dulled. Her hand gestures were tighter. Richard's voice came in strong, leading the flow. Kate responded when she could, but the earlier interruptions seemed to linger in the atmosphere. That evening, social media was ablaze. Clips of the moment were reposted. Comments poured in. "I am in shock. Madeley just shut Kate Garraway down." "Poor hosting on #GMB. Take Garraway and Madeley off at 7 and replace them." Kate's team scrambled to manage the fallout. While Kate herself remained silent publicly, close colleagues later disclosed she was frustrated but composed, insisting the matter would be dealt with internally. Richard's representatives said nothing beyond the show's standard, "Everyone is focused on delivering the best journalism." Nevertheless, the clip sparked a broader debate, the role of female presenters in shared hosting environments. the balance of voice and authority on live TV, and how even minor gestures like raising a hand or pausing someone mid-sentence can seem like domineering in a high-stakes broadcast. In the following days, the studio atmosphere shifted. Kate and Richard arrived earlier, rehearsed longer. Producers rearranged the desk layout, giving Kate a slightly more forward position. On air, Kate initiated more of the segments herself, while Richard supported. The show's ratings remained stable, but behind the scenes, few forgot that awkward morning. 1 month later, Kate did an interview for a magazine, and when asked about the incident, she replied, "Live television is unpredictable. You have to be ready for anything. But what's most important is what you say, not who speaks first." She declined to answer whether there had been a conversation afterwards between her and Richard. For the viewers who witnessed the shut-down moment, it remained a vivid reminder that behind the polished facades of broadcast TV, power dynamics, subtle tensions, and live editing happen in a heartbeat. Kate Garraway didn't lose the show that morning, but for many, it looked like she lost her voice. And for Richard Madeley, the moment became a talking point, a dominant co-host, whether admittedly or not, overshadowing his colleague. The showrunners quietly reviewed future segments, mindful that from now on, the balance of airtime and the optics of who gets to finish a sentence would be monitored more closely.